Welcome in, Bears fans and fans of Most Valuable Podcast. It is week 7, and the Bears lost again. But they lost in many ways because Brian Hoyer, the Lord and Savior here in the Chicago Bears area, is broken in more ways than one. One, spiritually, because, my goodness, poor Brian Hoyer. First, he had to play for the Bears. Second, legitimately broken his arm, so he's done, most likely for the season. So what do we have to look forward to? Matt Barkley. Yeah, 1-15. I'm looking forward to that. Let's talk about some positive things, though, in this game that I've saw, because you know what? Honestly, I've had enough of talking about the depression that is the Chicago Bears 7 weeks into the season. They're 1-6. They're 1-6. Probably top 3 worst teams in football. They're in the top of something, I guess. I want to focus on the defensive side of the ball specifically because it's important. The development of the young players among this defense is what should be focused on for the rest of this season. Also, Pernell McPhee. Pernell McPhee is back on the field, and that's a good thing, I guess, for whatever reason, despite the fact that, yeah, they're not going to win probably again if Matt Barkley's their quarterback. Pernell McPhee hasn't been on the field since last season, and for whatever reason, he played through an injury, which cost him 6 weeks of this season, and similar on the other side of the ball, that happened to Kyle Long. Kyle Long entered this season with a partially torn labrum or a torn labrum in his shoulder. He hurt that labrum this week in Green Bay, and now, for me, I would just sit him for the rest of the season. There's really no point of our best player injuring himself further for no reason. Really, the goal right now is to be as bad as possible and to get as high of a pick you can in the hopes of rebuilding this franchise from below mediocrity, and that's what they are at this point. I want to talk about Matt Barkley real quick before I continue on to the defensive side of the ball because that's really all I'm going to talk about today. Matt Barkley, okay, 2 interceptions. I get it. And you know what? He stepped in, but he makes the Chicago Bears not completely one-dimensional. Like, he's not Todd Collins where you just hand the ball off every single time and hopefully, like, Todd Collins completes a pass more than 4 yards in front of him. Matt Barkley can kind of create some sort of passing game, but it's not going to happen. Matt Barkley is just, there's a reason why he was on 3 different teams in 3 years and a borderline third-string backup quarterback at best. You take what you get from Matt Barkley. I assume the Bears are going to somehow sign someone like TJ Yates maybe, or Charlie Whitehurst, or my God, Jimmy Clausen possibly. So that's what we're succumbed to right now because I don't know if Jay Cutler's going to ever be healthy for the rest of the season. I think he's got limited ligament damage. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It doesn't look good for Jay Cutler. But anyway, Brian Hoyer's done. Matt Barkley could lose you games, and that's the goal from now on. Anyway, okay, let's move on to the defensive side. Looking defensively, the secondary. Why they lost to Green Bay, really, honestly, in the first half, they looked pretty solid. They had a decent game plan. They were flying to the ball. They were able to stop Aaron Rodgers and those Green Bay wide receivers. If you watch the broadcast over the Cubs game for whatever reason, I don't know why, but if you watch the broadcast, they were saying that the Green Bay receivers weren't able to get open. And that's a credit to the Bears secondary until really they were on the field 20 minutes longer than the Green Bay Packers defense because the Bears offense only totaled like 170 yards. But it looked okay. There was athletic plays that were being made until the second half. One person who stood out to me specifically was Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd finally came out and had a good game as a Chicago Bear, looked like a first-round pick, was in on that strip sack with Willie Young on Aaron Rodgers, ended up recovering the football in the end zone for a touchdown. They were leading. Whoa, they had a lead, and then all of a sudden they didn't because a no-huddle offense for Aaron Rodgers, who threw the ball over 50 times, just absolutely torched the Bears. And that goes to the credit because, one, offense couldn't stay on the field. They couldn't get anything going. And two, that defensive secondary is weak and inexperienced and young. Crayvon LeBlanc, Devontae Bisbee, and Jacoby Glenn. Those guys are, oh boy. And you got to rely on them because Tracy Porter's old and getting beat over and over again. I don't know if Kyle Fuller will ever step on the field because, one, I don't know if he's good. And two, will he ever be healthy? So much going on in the secondary. Right now, it just leads to the question, what are the Bears going to do with a top 3 overall pick at this point? Hopefully, it's best player available, and hopefully that will end up being a quarterback. But for right now, there are so many needs on this team that you just got to get the BPA. So for the remainder of the Bears season, folks, just focus on the development of the defensive side of the football because offensively, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. Thank you guys for checking out this Bears reaction video, Week 7 against the Green Bay Packers, which they lost, another primetime matchup. We get to look forward to the Minnesota Vikings in 14 days or 11 days or whatever. I can't count. That's fine. Check us out on Patreon, YouTube, Most Valuable Pod on Twitter. Follow me at Rankin906. We have a ton of other content that you can check out right here, so stay tuned for more. And until next week, guys, we'll see you all next time.